Good morning, it's Wednesday, June 21st. I'm Joe Elkier, here with Tim Murphy. Welcome back to the Gold Spot. Tim, we're kind of seeing a lot of complacency within the market, and I think a large part of that is due to kind of distractions, smoke and mirrors. Can you pull that back a little bit and just show us kind of, or tell us a little bit what you're seeing in the markets, kind of how it's reacting?
Yeah, and complacency it's the word of the day. It's right now people seem to be somewhat comfortable. They're not worried about the economy and it's as much, and it's just ironic because we've had so many cases of just regarding the economy that are just horrific. And going back to 2008, that was just the beginning of kicking the can down the road and printing money and glossing over things. I mean, things were rough back then, but we created so much money and so much debt, and it just keeps going on and on. We had COVID, and everybody again, they were panicking, and they're running in to buy gold and silver, and then all of a sudden everyone's complacent again, and then the banks go under, and 2 or 3 big banks go under, and again there's panic on the streets, and people come in and they buy gold and silver, and now we're complacent again. It's the whole point is that over time things have been so bad. There's so much money's been printed, and the markets, interest rates were manipulated lower and artificially kept down for decades, and all of this stuff, it has consequences. So that's it's very important to understand that it's sort of it's like calm waters on the surface, but below you got the crocodiles, and the crocodiles are there, and if you're not prepared and ready, you're going to be in a heap of trouble.
With supply and demand in the markets, I know you have a lot of experience in seeing some drastic moves in supply and demand affecting things. When you were in the copper pits in the 80s, do you see any similarities between then and kind of what could happen in the precious metals markets now?
Yeah, it's a really good relationship there. Back in the 80s, copper was trading at around 50 cents a pound, and the company I was involved with, we had a client who was an economist for the World Bank, and he came and approached us, and he's a real big time guy, and he said there's a supply demand deficit. There's more copper is being in demand than there is being produced, and so we started to buy copper, and we put the word out, and we got everybody in copper, and for 2 years copper went sideways. And everybody's looking at around saying what's going on, how come it's not moving up? But then all of a sudden, in the middle of 1987, in a 6-month period, the price of copper tripled, and people made fortunes, and it was a very exciting time. And now we've got silver in a situation just like in copper, even more so. We had, just to go back a little bit, silver has always been in equilibrium in terms of supply and demand, but in 2021. For the first time ever, we had silver was in a minor deficit situation, which demand was a little bit greater than supply. It was around 1 billion ounces of demand, 1 billion ounces of supply at the time. And 2022, that number increased. The demand went up to 1.25 billion ounces, with supply still just under 1 billion. And 2023, we're projected for 1.4 billion ounces of silver being in demand, and again the production is going to be just below 1 billion ounces. So it's just common sense. You can see where we're headed in this direction, and on top of everything else, silver is going to explode, and so will gold, because people are buying gold. The central banks are buying gold left and right now.
So complacency gives us some good opportunity also. A couple times a year traditionally are very good to be buying metals right after Christmas and around the 4th of July. So it's a good time to take advantage, especially when you've got a lot of news coming out, like Bloomberg Intelligence yesterday is projecting gold to go to $3,000 an ounce in the second half of the year, largely in part of just FOMO. People are going to be chasing this. So right now with this complacency, it's a good time to look at buying precious metals. Go to our website, give us a call. We're happy to help, and we'll see you next week on the Gold Spot.